to my video newsletter. This is just the second week of December, and we're at number 7. I can't believe I've actually been able to do this long. Anyway, I'm excited to tell you guys something really exciting for me anyway. My cute little granddaughter, about a year and a half ago, she was out, she and her brother and sister were out for a summer vacation, and she saw all my books up on my bookshelf, and she said, "Grammy, I want to write a book." And I said, "Well, what would you write about?" And she said, "Mermaids and Unicorns," of course, right? What 6-year-old girl doesn't love mermaids and unicorns? And so I said, "Well, tell me the story." So she told me this story: Mermaids and Unicorns Can't Be Friends. Well, so we worked on this book for about a week. She told me the story. I wrote the words down, and then Grandpa did the illustrations. And I just have to show you my favorite illustration. So Sparkly the mermaid is trying to teach Wally the unicorn how to eat seaweed, and I don't like seaweed either. So this expresses Wally's emotions just perfectly the way I feel too. So, and then this is my adorable granddaughter right here. And she's coming with her brother and sister this coming Friday. Their flight gets in at 12:07 Friday morning. My husband's going to drive down to the valley and pick them up, and they should be up sometime on Friday, and they'll get to stay with me for a whole week. I'm really excited. So I will link this book in the description. I hope you'll grab a copy of it, and maybe next week I'll have her read it to you. Okay, so last week you remember that I read chapters 1 and chapter 2 of the Miracle of Joy. Well, I thought today that I would read chapter 3. And just to kind of bring you up to speed, if you didn't see my video last week, Joy has been sent to Miracle, Texas to find a wife for this very lonely man and a mother for his daughter who was in a car accident that killed her mother and then left her paralyzed. Well, she writes a letter to Mrs. Claus and says, "I need a new mommy." And so Mrs. Claus sends Joy Noel as an elf, and I have to show you what she looks like. So that's what my elf Joy looks like. And Mrs. Claus sends Joy to Texas. Well, Joy ends up in his truck, and she just says something really not quietly, and it scares Matt to death, and he careens off the edge over a little embankment and down into a ditch. So this is now chapter 3. Joy hadn't meant to frighten Matt so badly that he sent his truck careening over the edge. Wow, she didn't even realize she'd been invisible. Then again, if he'd seen her in her elf form, he might have been even more frightened. She just meant to whisper in his ear. Sometimes Joy forgot how loud her voice could be. When she got excited, she simply couldn't help it. Biting her lower lip, she stood outside the passenger door. There had to be a better way to introduce herself and explain her mission. Around her wrist hung the miracle bracelet Mrs. Claus had given her. 5 charms: a snowman, ice skates, an angel, and a miniature snow globe, and a candy cane hung from the silver links. She stroked the snowman. Was this a good time to use one of the miracles enveloped by the charm? No, it didn't have the warmth it did when Mrs. Claus had placed it on the bracelet. Mrs. Claus told Joy she'd know when the time was right. She put on her loveliest smile and tapped on the passenger side window. Matt jumped. Blow pops, that man was jittery. Maybe he hit his head when he went careening down the embankment. Joy opened the door and bounded up into the massive truck. She settled into the soft bucket seats and smiled as sweetly as she could. "I'm sorry I scared you." "Where did you come from?" Matt gripped the steering wheel as if he might make a dash into the woods. "Oh, north of here a ways." She pointed with her thumb as if she hitchhiked along the road behind her. "Where are your mom and dad?" His expression looked so concerned. That was awfully nice of him. She'd have to make sure that his new wife matched how kind and sweet he was. Ignoring his question, she broadened her smile, hoping he'd loosen up a little. I'm here to help you. He fiddled with the door handle. We need to find your parents. Where are they? Don't worry. Chris and Layla know where I am. And they're not really my parents, but they take care of all the residents of NPK. Joy adjusted her bracelet. Several of the charms holding the miracles tinkled together. Was she really the right elf for the job? She was certainly making a mess of this, and she'd hardly said anything at all. No, she couldn't go back, not when she'd just gotten here. Maybe beating around the igloo wasn't the best idea. Perhaps the straight peppermint stick approach would work best. Joy cleared her throat. I'm sorry, I've gotten off to a bad start. She held out her hand. My name's Joy Noel. It's French for joy. And of course, Noel means Christmas. I'm an elf who's come in answer to Emily's letter to Mrs. Claus. Look, little girl. Joy, and I'm actually coming up on my 26th year. I was born on Christmas Day. Do you know how wonderful it is to share a birthday with the Christ child? She continued to fidget with the bracelet. Did Craig put you up to this? Oh, no. Craig is at home right now with his kids. They're decorating the tree. Olivia is cooking up some mighty fine wassail. Joy smacked her lips. While she guessed that Olivia was quite adept in the kitchen, no one ever made wassail quite like Mrs. Claus. Matthew withdrew his cell phone and selected a number from his contact list. Joy patiently waited for him to verify her information on the Layton family. Hey, Craig, what are y'all up to tonight? Just putting up the tree. Joy could hear easily on the other end. Joy could easily hear Craig on the other end. She could also hear the excitement of the children in the background, along with jolly old St. Nicholas playing on the radio. The children singing along at the top of their lungs. You should stop by for some waffles. Bring Emily. The girls would love it. Joy couldn't help but grin. Matthew eyed Joy. Do you know a girl named Joy? You on a date? Incredulity filled Craig's voice. That would certainly be a miracle. No, I'm not on a date. Matthew frowned at Joy. I've picked up an 8 or 9-year-old hitchhiker whose parents should be shot for allowing her out by herself. You don't sound so good, Craig said. Concern thickened his voice. You haven't been drinking, have you? You're not hallucinating, are you? No, I'm fine. See you Monday. Shaking his head, Matthew clicked the end button and turned back to Joy. Well, Miss Noel, I'm going to take you to the sheriff's office as soon as the tow truck arrives. I hope they press charges against your parents. Joy bit her lip. This was not going as planned. So that's chapter 3 of The Miracle of Joy, and I hope you'll grab a copy of it. It's a really fun way to start off your Christmas season. I don't have a whole lot of other news to share. I've been just busy trying to get my house ready for Christmas. I've got a couple trees up and no decorations on the trees yet because I thought it would be fun for my kids or my grandkids to do that when they get here. Just real quick, things are a little bit different than last week's video, and if you'll leave me a comment as to what you think is different about this video, leave it in the comment and I will enter you in a drawing for an ebook for The Miracle of Joy. If you would like this video and even maybe share it, that would be fantastic. Also, please subscribe so that you never miss a video because I plan to keep doing these. So until next week, I love you.